You've probably asked yourself, is this a portrait? Is this a good portrait? We'll try to solve that today in the studio. Hello everyone, my name is Alex Silva, and today I'd like to talk to you about portraits. Why? Well, on one side, this is a very common question that I've seen in online forums and the like. What is portrait photography? And on the other hand, if you follow me on social media, if you know my offering, you know that my main offering in my commercial photography is portrait photography. So let's get to it. Let's start with, what is a portrait? Okay, we can talk about it all day long, but in general terms, a portrait is an image or a photograph that shows a person or a group of people. There are many different discussions about this. For example, some people argue that we should be able to consider a portrait with if the image is of an if we're shooting an image of an animal. I don't usually agree with that. In some other cases, some people say we should be able to see the person's face and eyes specifically. I don't agree with that because there is a line of portrait photography called conceptual portraits, and I love that. When it comes to me, I usually consider a group of people or one person, and we may see their eyes or not. But we should be able to distinguish that this person or group are the main focus of the image. That is one thing. Another thing is that this person or group of people should be shown either isolated, let's say with a plain or not very distracting background, or with some sort of environment. However, even if you have some environment, you should be able to see that the main focus of the image is this person or group of people. In any case, now that we have a clear or more or less clear definition of what a portrait is, the next step would be, hey, how can I shoot portraits, or how can I start shooting portraits? And it's very simple. You don't need super complicated gear. Let's start with your current camera. And if you have a kit lens, go with that, whether it is the 18 to 55 millimeter or the 16 to 50 that we see some Sony cameras nowadays with that. Sony and Fujifilm are using that as a kit lens. And I also see some people, if you are using a full frame camera with a kit lens, you probably have the 24 to 105. That's great. In any case, the recommended focal length for you to shoot portraits is either normal lenses or short telephotos. Yes, you can use wide-angle lenses to shoot portraits. That's perfectly fine. It's just that the common practice is to use either normal or short telephotos. If you're using full frame, we're talking about 50 millimeters or 85. If you're using APS-C, we're talking about 35 millimeters and 50 or 55, something like that. If you're using micro four thirds, we will be talking about 25 to 42 millimeters. If you're using a kit lens, let's say the 18 to 55 millimeters, we're going to shoot in a position between the 30 and the 55 millimeters. In any case, now that you have a camera and the lens and you know which focal length to use, let's talk about light. You have probably seen many videos in which we use flashes and continuous lights and softboxes and whatever. Let's not get too complex for you to start. Use natural light. Use your available light. For this, you have probably two options. Go with stay inside and use a window, the light from a window, or go outside and look for some shade. Don't use direct sunlight. In any case, in any one of those cases, you're going to use the light coming from the side. Let's start with that. Of course, you can use the light coming straight to your subject, but I would suggest that you try both ways, either with the light more or less straight to your subject or coming from the light. That way you will be able to see and play with the shadows that form in between with using the features of your face, of your subject, whether it is from the nose, from the lips, from the eyeballs, etc. So just start shooting. Portraits are usually shot vertically, but there's no written rule about that. Shoot however the way you feel more comfortable. Another thing that you can use to start shooting portraits in terms of technique is to start using a reflector, whether it is one of these collapsible reflectors, or if you don't have one of those, just use a big piece of paper or foam board, white foam board, that you can start using in order to control how much light is bounced back to the subject, and you can start controlling the shadows. In any case, now that you have your kit, camera, lens, light, and probably a reflector, let's get your subjects. How do you get people in front of your camera? It's not very difficult, but it's not super easy either. The way that I found most helpful for me to start to keep practicing in terms of shooting portraits is to ask people, hey, can I shoot images with you? Some people will say no, they're not interested, and that's perfectly fine. But you will find some people that will say, yes, sure, let's give it a try. However, in order for you to increase your chances of people saying yes, what you can do is build your portfolio. Keep some of your best images, let's say, in your phone, so that when you approach somebody, you can say, hey, I shoot this kind of images. Would you be interested in having an image like this? Let's say that you are just starting, you have absolutely no portfolio. Look for images on the internet. Let's say we go to Pinterest or things like that, and look for images that were created using natural light and simple cameras and lenses. You can also look for that using Flickr. So in essence, you have some references that you downloaded from the internet, and you can show somebody and say, hey, I'd like to shoot an image like this. I'm doing this as an experiment. Would you like to shoot? And you will probably have a better chance for people saying yes. And if that is your case, of course, make sure that you deliver those images in some way. Since you are starting, it's probably fine to shoot for free, because you're getting practice. You're practicing. You're getting to learn. And well, I guess some of the best ways to thank these people for their time is to give away the images at first. Whenever somebody actually starts looking for you in terms of portraits, then you can start charging. I think we covered the basics of portrait photography. We talked about what is portrait photography, what is not. We talked about the gear that you can use, and we talked about how you can get subjects, get people in front of your camera in order for you to start shooting portraits. I really hope this video was helpful for you. I really hope you liked it. If that is the case, yes, hit that like button. And if you like to keep up to date with this channel, of course, you can subscribe to it. But if you prefer to keep the written blog posts, you can subscribe to the weekly newsletter. In any case, please remember to keep learning and keep shooting. See you next week.